give Facebook a second to connect. All right. Hello and welcome to this little bonus episode. So I'm not 100% sure if my internet is going to hold up for this. So if it does not, I will just record this as a video and I'll upload it later so that you can watch it. And if not, I hope that this works and we will just get right into it. Okay, so for this little today, this is just going to be like a little bonus episode. I'm not going to go for a whole hour. I'm just going to kind of try to offer a bit of a reframe on something that I know can be really triggering this time of year and something that can be really prevalent this time of year, which is the idea of being on and off track. All right, so with the new year around the corner, with the holidays happening, all of these things, it's really a part of our culture and of our media to be looking at our lives and kind of like doing a year in review and feeling like, okay, well, did you accomplish your goals? Did you become the person you were supposed to become? Did you do all the things that you set out to do? Did you improve in all the ways you wanted to improve? Did you grow in all the ways you wanted to grow? And this can even be something that we come up with on our self-love path, that we bring into our self-love path, feeling like, was I as compassionate with myself as I should have been? Was I as gentle with myself? Was I as curious? Did I discover as many things about myself as I wanted to discover? Was I able to be on the self-love path good enough? And then along with that, we can be in this time of year, in this holiday season where we're going to be extra triggered. Like, I just think for most of us watching this, right? We're around family, we're not around family. We're around a lot of people, we're not around a lot of people. Everything is changing and schedules are different and things that we're needing to do and needing to be a part of that we may not want to be a part of, that we feel like we don't want to do, that really don't feel good for us, feeling like we want to be doing things that we can't be doing, that we're not celebrating. We can feel like we're missing people. We can feel like we're ill, and that makes these times of year even harder. We're anxious, we're depressed, we have things going on in our lives that just everything gets amplified this time of year. And I just want to speak to that as well, that like, because of that extra pressure, because of that extra trigger, because of this extra, just like I say, time of year where we're all under extra pressure and there are just extra triggers and things are harder than they usually are, we can all feel like we're falling off track. Like we've fallen off track with our health habits, we've fallen off track with our work habits, we've fallen off track with our self-care routines, we've fallen off track with our mental health. And it can feel like, man, like I'm failing, like this sucks, like I'm feeling extra triggered, I'm falling apart in ways that I don't usually, I'm feeling all of these things that I don't usually feel. And it can feel like we're failing. It can feel like we're not doing good enough. It can feel like, oh my gosh, I've made no progress. Like I thought I had made all these progress and now I feel like I'm backsliding and now I feel like I'm doing shitty again. Now I feel like, oh my God, did this even work? All this stuff that I tried to do this year, did it even make things better? Or again, did I just lose everything? And then with that can come this hope that the new year is going to be different and we're going to get back on track and we're going to make all of these plans for doing better in the new year, and the whole 2022 is going to be different and we're going to be different and we're going to support ourselves different, and there's all this hope for this new start, this fresh start, that again in the beginning can feel really nice, can feel really encouraging, can feel really like, okay, there's hope for the future, there's hope for something better, there's hope for getting back on track and fixing our lives. But then, like I say, usually the new year comes and February comes, especially mid-January, February comes, and we're in that slump again, and we feel down and we feel depressed and we feel like it's hard and we feel like we whatever. Okay, and then the last thing is this can be a very existential crisis time of year as well. Like, I think as much as a lot of us try to pretend like we're not in this culture and we're not celebrating or we're not connected to what everyone else is doing, this can be a time of year where we all just feel like, holy shit, what am I doing with my life? Like, why am I even pursuing the things that I'm pursuing? Am I doing what I should be doing? Is this my purpose? Is this my passion? Am I close to my purpose and my passion? What do I want? Am I doing what I should be doing? Like, this can be this time of year where we all just feel like, holy shit, what am I doing with my life? Where am I going? Is this going anywhere that I want it to go? Do I even know where I want to go? And like I say, this year is a big time, and it just kind of is every year. And so I just want to start this by saying, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling triggered, if you're feeling like you're not good enough, if you're feeling like you're off track and you're being triggered all over the place and oh my goodness, did you make any progress this year? And if you're feeling like it's going to be okay because we have the new year around the corner and I can change everything. And especially if you're feeling that existential, like, what is life? I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. All the certainty I had back in the middle of summer is all gone now and I'm just confused. There's nothing wrong with you, and you're not doing anything wrong, and you're not failing, and you're not doing the path right, and you're not shitty. Okay? This is not a sign that you're off track. This is not a sign that you're not doing what you should be doing. This is not a sign that you have made no progress, and these triggers and all this time of year being extra intense means that all the work you didn't count and doesn't count. None of this is true. Okay, so I just want to look at the stories that I think a lot of us are having in our heads right now, that we're failing, that we suck, that we're extra triggered, that we didn't heal, that we don't know what we're doing and we don't know where we're going, and oh my goodness, what is life? All of us are going to be feeling this way. Okay, you are not alone. You are not the only one feeling this way. And a lot of it is not even because of you. Okay, so I really just want to speak to, first and foremost, that you are not making up these stories just because you want to be miserable, nor are these stories actually true. Culture, our world, the societies that most of us live in, drive these messages into our heads even harder this time of year, because we have to remember, as shitty as this sounds, the more insecure we are, the more we feel like we're failing, the more we feel like we're off track, the more we feel like we don't know who we are and we don't know what we want and we don't know what our purpose is and am I failing and am I doing it right and all this stuff, the better consumers we're going to be. The more manipulatable we are going to be by the marketing techniques that are on overdrive right now to sell us programs, to sell us spiritual programs, to sell us mental health programs, to sell us stuff, books, movies. Everything is on hyperdrive right now. And that is part of why you feel this way. Okay? It for a lot of us, it has not even anything to do with our actual lives. You are not feeling how you're feeling in response to you actually failing or not doing good enough or not being good enough or not having made progress. Okay? You are feeling this way because these messages, like I said, are on hyperdrive and overdrive right now. And even if you don't consume a lot of media, like even if you're not like watching TV and watching commercials and going to the movies and like being inundated with this stuff, it's in the atmosphere, it's everywhere. Like even like I say, we're interacting, a lot of us, with more people than we would usually be interacting with, and people are coming into our bubbles that usually wouldn't be in our bubbles. And there's an energetic component to this, that just being on the earth, connected to everywhere, right? Connected to everyone the way that we are, because we're not isolated individuals. Like, you don't even have to think of this in magical metaphysical terms. You can even just think of this as like, clearly, we are all connected. Clearly, we live in a society where we are connected to each other. None of us are islands. And when everyone is feeling this, right, when this extra amped up energy is everywhere, it would be ridiculous to think that we're not going to feel it, even if we're not necessarily directly taking it in ourselves. Okay? So it is normal that this time of year we are extra triggered, even if we don't feel like our lives are changing all that much. Okay? Even if we live far away from our families and we've disconnected from those old ways of being, this time of year can bring up memories, can bring up times when we were still in it, and all of the heaviness that can go along with that. And then along with that, so I just want to recognize that, okay, that if you're feeling extra down and extra heavy and you feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm not even in it, I'm not doing it, I'm not connected, why am I feeling so shitty? Part of it can just be that this is visceral memory stored in your body, that this is somatic, that there's just this time of year brings up these feelings because they're there and they're stored, and it just wasn't that great, and we can, or it was really hard and really terrible. Like this time of year could have been really traumatic for a lot of us. And so to allow yourself to say that, like, just because I feel like this and I'm feeling this way, and there doesn't seem to be anything in my immediate reality that's causing it, you can be gentle with yourself and be nice to yourself and understand that, like, yeah, but you went through a whole bunch of years before this where it was a lot of stuff and you were inundated and your nervous system was affected by that. And so being kind and compassionate with yourself for the things you have been through at this time of year can be very important. So to really, 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 right, like, I know it can be so easy to be like, what's wrong with me that I'm feeling this way? I can't think of anything in my immediate environment that's causing me to feel like this, and yet I feel like shit. I feel totally awful. I feel like I'm falling apart. And a lot of it, again, culture. It's there. It's in the atmosphere. It's around you. Even if you don't want it to be, you're being affected by it. Let's be compassionate with ourselves about that. Second thing, what we've been through is stored in our bodies. So if this time of year was historically quite intense for you, even if you've made changes to get out of it, you might still be feeling that pressure and that intensity because it's stored there. Your body's remembering. So being gentle with yourself, being compassionate with yourself, understanding that if this was a very heavy and hard time of year for you in your past, that it might be coming up to be felt again. So to be nice to yourself. And then the third thing is, a lot of us aren't disconnected. A lot of us aren't fully checked out of the system or checked out at all. And now we have all this family pressure and all this cultural pressure that we should be with our family, we should be connecting with people, we should be having a good time, we should be celebrating, we should be happy, we should be giving gifts and receiving gifts, and there's like all this expectation, right? That for all of us, even if you moved away, who should you be calling? How many times should you be calling? Who should you be connecting with? Who should you not be connecting? And there's all this, like I say, family pressure and guilt, and this is who and what you should be. There's all the societal pressure of like, are you in a relationship? And did you have a baby? And like all of this stuff. Are you where you want to be with your career? Did you do all these things? And people, right, we can be connecting with people we haven't connected with all year except for from last year, and then they're asking about our lives, and we feel like we don't have the right things to say, and we don't know what to say, or maybe we do feel proud of our accomplishments, but no one else really cares, and it's like all this confusing mess of pressure and expectation. And then we can feel like we don't want to participate and we don't want to be in it, but we're disappointing people and that feels terrible, and we're making people upset and we don't want to do that. And we want to honor ourselves and we want to honor our paths and we want to honor what's right for us, but that is very, 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 very difficult in the face of family, especially. Family, friends, and culture that has this huge expectation of who we should be and what we should be and what we should be experiencing right now. And so again, this time of year is a lot. This time of year is a lot. And even if you change your life radically, this time of year can still be a lot. So if you're feeling like that, there is nothing wrong with you. Okay, there is nothing wrong with you. If you're feeling like you want to have boundaries, but you can't right now, there's nothing wrong with you. If you feel like the boundaries you've set don't feel good because you're making people upset and they're being challenged and people don't like it and it's hard, there's nothing wrong with you. If you've made a whole bunch of changes to your life and it feels like you should be out of this and I don't even understand why I'm feeling this way, but you do feel this way, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not off track. This is an incredibly intense time of year. And all of us are going to feel it because we are a part of a collective that is all participating to some degree in this consumerism, capitalist, holiday, religious, all of these things that are just a huge part of humanity right now. That again, as much as we may have individually done as much as we could to check out, even just mentally, we might still be there physically. It's hard to not feel it. And we're probably not gonna not feel it. Okay? So there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. If you're being triggered this time of year and you don't know why or you do know why, no matter what, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not doing bad and you haven't fallen off track. Okay? You are still on track. This is just an incredibly difficult time of year. And I want you to also know that it's normal that on the other side of it, that there will be a crash. Because this is going to be a triggering time. And for a lot of us, our nervous systems are going to get wired. And they're going to get stimulated. And we're going to be in an extra state. And like I say, all of the existential questions and existential crises and all of this pressure and am I doing the right thing and what am I supposed to be doing and is what I'm doing the right thing and am I on track or am I off track, and all of this stuff is gonna come up. And so like I say, in January, on the other side of this, when all the family goes away and all the stuff goes and we kind of go back to our normal, it might feel like we have a huge crash and we lose our footing and we feel like, holy crap, what just happened? So all of that is normal because we have nervous systems and we're connected to a collective that is really invested in a lot of systems that are really shitty. And that's just the bottom line. We are a part of a collective that is really invested in a lot of systems that are really shitty. But this does not mean we have no power and we just have to suffer through this, and that every year we just suffer through this, and that we have no autonomy in the mix. This is just to validate that we're gonna be affected and that that's okay. Okay? And now this next bit of feeling like we need to get back on track. Because again, a lot of us are going to feel like we fall off track this time of year. We fall off track with our self-love, we fall off track with our compassion for ourselves, with our curiosity, we fall off track with our self-care, we fall off track with our boundaries, we fall off track with we're gonna feel like our mental health suffers, we're gonna feel like our emotional health suffers, we're gonna feel like our physical health suffers, we're gonna feel like we get caught back in loops of codependency and doing things that we wouldn't normally do and not knowing. And like I say, especially the feeling that we're not living the lives we should be living, that we're not doing what we should be doing, that we're not where we thought we would be at this time of year, or that where we are just isn't good enough and isn't right, and what am I doing with my life? This is going to come up. This is gonna be normal for all of us, because again, this is an incredibly triggering time of year, and because society, I believe, sets us up to believe that what is normal human progress and normal human process our society sets us up to believe that that is a flaw and that we need more stuff to fill in the hole and the problem of the normal human process. So this whole idea of being on track and off track, of doing it and not doing it, of being on the path and being off the path, this I believe to be a complete manipulation and misunderstanding of normal human process and normal human growth. This idea that we can be on and off track, that we can be doing good and doing bad, that we can be how we should be and not how we should be. I believe this causes us so much unnecessary stress and makes us feel so unnecessarily inadequate when we are absolutely normal and adequate. Okay, so what do I mean by this? For all of us, for the rest of our lives as long as we live. The reality is, life is sometimes going to be more triggering than it is at other times. For all of us, for the rest of our lives, for as long as we live, there are going to be times when we can do our things, where we're totally on loving ourselves, having compassion for ourselves, where we can show up, where we can do all the practices, and it feels really good, and it feels like we're making progress, where we can set some boundaries, where we can challenge our nervous systems and do something new. Okay? There are going to be times where we feel like whatever we're doing and whatever goals we have and whatever kind of trajectory we're on, it feels like we're on the track and we're doing good and we're really progressing and this is great. There are going to be times where that happens. And then forever, for the rest of our lives, for as long as we all live, every single one of us as human beings, the most transcendent people you know, versus all have times and places where challenges come up, things happen, we get thrown off, okay? Oh, I'm so glad. Someone just said that they watched my video since I was a teenager. I'm 24 now, and I swear anytime I hear you speak now, I feel so comforted and affirmed. So good. That's all I want to hear. That's all I want to do. So I'm very happy. Thank you for sharing that. But forever, for the rest of our lives, all of us are going to be challenged, are going to face things that we did not expect that throw us off. We are all going to have times and places where we're not able to connect with our practices, where we're not able to do things, where it looks like we're backsliding, where our mental health struggles for a little bit, where our physical health struggles, where our emotional health struggles, where it looks like old patterns are coming back that we thought we had fixed, where we're codependent for a little while, where, like I say, we have a big emotional time, where tragedy happens, where some unexpected life event happens and it knocks us off course. And where just we're down and things are kind of shitty or really shitty. And there are dark periods and dark times and heavy periods and heavy times and more intense periods and more intense times. That is going to be how life is forever. You are not falling off track. You are not doing something wrong. There are going to be times where we forget our stuff, where we get triggered, where life is really intense, where doing what we were doing is difficult, where we fall back into old patterns. And I would really like to offer today that rather than looking at our lives as being this like my life when I'm on track and this like mistake part of my life, because that's sort of how we're framing it as a culture right now, as though there's these parts of our lives that are legit and these parts of our lives that are valid and these parts of our lives that are good, and the us that is participating in these parts of our lives are good and worthy and acceptable because we're on track and these things are good. And then there's these other half of our lives, this other part of our lives where we're triggered, or where life is intense, or where we forget, or where we can't do it, or where we're sick, or we're tired, or we're overwhelmed, or whatever it is that happens that makes us feel like we get knocked off track and we're bad and we're in the pit again. Are these bad, wrong, off track, not good, don't count as part of our success story parts of our lives? And the us that were participating in that were wrong and bad and shitty and inadequate. And then when we're in that space of being off track, we're incredibly vulnerable to the marketing and the messaging and the conditioning that says, yeah, you fucked it up, you failed, you're not good enough. Remember, compare to when you were on track. Compare yourself to when you were doing good. Compare to yourself to when you were good. And you're not that now. And so you need this product, you need this thing, you need to feel shame, you need to feel guilt, you need to get yourself back on track. And then we can literally start to feel guilty and shameful and bad about ourselves that we're anxious, or that we're depressed, or that our mental health struggles are coming back, or that our physical health struggles are coming back. And feeling like, well, now it's proof that I suck and it's my fault that these things are happening to me, because I had a period of time where I was doing good. So if I can do good for a period of time, that means if there's any bad times, if there's any low times, if there's any downtime, that's proof that it was because of me and I suck. Right? Because compared to the time when I was up and when I was doing good, and if I can make that happen, I should be able to make that happen all the time. And if I can't, I suck. So that whole thing, that narrative that our culture tells us, there's on track and off track. There's a you that's good and worthy of love, and that's the you that's on track. And there's a you that's shitty and not worthy of love, and that's the you that is off track. And the you that is off track is the shitty you that fucked it up because the you that was on track could do it. The you that was doing it was on it. So what the heck happened? You failed. You fell off. You didn't do good enough. And now you are causing yourself all of your own pain. It's all your fault. So what are you going to do to fix it? And you should feel ashamed of yourself, and you should feel guilty because now you're a burden. Now you're back in all your bad habits, and all your bad habits make you bad and wrong and unworthy of love. You see how this narrative on the surface doesn't look like that. It's like, well, obviously I feel better when I'm on track, and I want to do all the things I can do to be on track. Of course I want to be on track. On track feels so much better than off track. And obviously I'm empowered. It's all in me. If I just believe hard enough, and if I just do my practices well enough, and if I just do everything good enough, I will stay on track. The only reason I fell off track is because of myself. The only reason I fell off track is because I suck. And I didn't do my practices, and now I need to get back on it, or I need to buy the new course, or I need to do whatever after I go through like the shitty pit feeling of feeling all depressed and shameful about myself and terrible about myself that I fell off track and I let this happen, and aren't I terrible that I did this? Right? Exactly. Natalia says, we have this pressure in our society that we should have it all figured out all the time. And if we're really doing it right, we'll never fall off track again. If we're really doing it right, if we're actually finding the solution, if we actually found the answers, if we're really being successful on this path, we should never fall off track again. And if we do, it's just our own fault. And that is what I want to say is bullshit. That is not how life works. That is not how growth works. That is not true about any human being. You are not fucking up your own life by choosing to fall off track or just not doing the thing good enough. Because you had it for a while, so obviously you can do it, and now you suck. That is not reality. That is never going to be reality. And as much as culture wants to tell you that that is what reality is, that is not reality. In real reality, we are always going to have peaks and valleys on our paths. We are always going to have stuff that comes up that challenges us. We are always going to have our foundations of what we know works for us, that we can stick to sometimes, and that we get knocked off sometimes. And if we can make space for this, if we can start to have actual compassion for ourselves when we fall off track, and rather than assuming I just did something shitty to make myself fall off track, that I broke myself, that I did a bad, wrong thing, that I just failed, that I didn't do good enough, that I have some inadequacy that made me fall off track. And we can instead say, okay, no, first and foremost, what actually happened that I fell off track? In real reality, was there an extra trigger? Did life get challenging? Did something come up that I didn't expect? Right? Was there just a snowball of things? Was it not necessarily anything that I can point to in the reality, but just it was an emotional time? It was a heavy time? And then this next thing, understanding that as we make changes to our patterns and to our programs, when we're loving ourselves, when we're being compassionate with ourselves, when we're facing our anxiety and our depression, and we're doing our work, there are going to be just natural and normal cycles where our nervous system lets us go forward and then it pulls us back. We're doing it, we're on track, and then the nervous system says, just nope, too much, too far, can't do it, and we fall back a little bit. And then we're going to go again, and then we're going to get pulled back a bit. And then we're going to go again, and then we're going to get pulled back a bit. So it might not even be that we were necessarily triggered by anything out there. It could just be we were on it for a period of time, and then the nervous system said, okay, that was too far, too much. I need to go back a little bit. And that's not something wrong. And that doesn't mean you did a bad thing. And that doesn't mean you failed. And that doesn't mean you fell off track. That means you have a normal human nervous system that can make so much progress at a time before it needs to go backwards a little bit. There is no such thing as falling off track. There is no such thing as falling off track. And if we can start to understand that forever, for as long as we live, progress and life is always going to look like moving forward, falling back, moving forward, falling back, moving forward, getting triggered by something. Whoa, it's more intense. Getting our footing, getting our ground, and feeling really secure in something, and then a new challenge comes that we had never faced before, and it looks like we fall back, but really we're just learning to use our new tools under this new pressure. So we didn't actually fall off track. Rather, there was new pressure, there was new challenge, and it took us a while to figure out how to use our new tools in this new environment. And then we'll get there, and then we'll stabilize a bit, and then a new challenge will happen, right? And then we're going to be a little bit discombobulated, old habits are going to come up, things are going to happen, and then we're going to reorganize and resettle and refigure out how to stabilize with our new tools in the new environment. Equilibrium, exactly. Sometimes we're going to be great at setting boundaries, and then something's going to happen and we're not going to be able to do it. Sometimes we're going to be so on top of our thoughts and helping ourselves view reality, and then we're going to get into a spiral where everything triggers us and we can't get ourselves out. We're just feeling like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Nothing. Absolutely nothing is wrong with you. You are not off track. There are just going to be times where it's more challenging than other times. There are going to be times where what we could handle a couple of weeks ago, we just can't handle right now. And that does not mean you're off track. And that does not mean you've done something wrong. Okay? And especially with coping mechanisms and addictions and things like this. Figuring out what we need and why we are in pain and what is causing us and driving us to do these self-destructive behaviors takes time. Figuring this stuff out takes time. So a lot of us feel like I was so on track and then I fell into my behavior. I fell into my drinking. I fell into my shopping. I fell into my thing that I do. And what was wrong with me that I fell off track? Again, nothing. We are going to return to, okay, I'm in my coping mechanism. I'm in my self-sabotage. I'm in my numbing. I'm in my coping, my addiction, all of these things. And we're gonna feel like, again, I'm here again. Why do I suck so bad? And the answer is you do not. You don't. Our scapegoats, our coping, our self-sabotage, our addictions, these are all responses to pain that we're feeling, to needs we didn't get met, to needs we're not aware of, to all of this stuff. And it just takes a lot of time and compassion and showing up in these moments where we're in our addiction and our self-sabotage and all this stuff and asking ourselves just, okay, what do I need? What am I feeling? And a huge thing of it too is that learning how to feel our pain and how to process our emotions and all this stuff can take a long time. And learning how to face the pain that we're in and not cope and not numb and not sabotage and just be in it sometimes, it takes a long time. And so again, when life is extra triggering and life is extra pressure and life is all these things, I'm thinking like, what's wrong with me that I'm falling back into my addiction and my scapegoat and my coping so much right now? Nothing. This is something that's hard and intense normally. So when it's extra challenging, of course, these old things are going to come up. And you have to just look at it like it's there, it's trying to support you. That's how you're getting through right now. It's not something wrong with you. It's how you're coping with the pain you don't know how to process, the stuff you're in, the cultural expectation, the you that you think you have to be, all of this stuff. There's nothing wrong with you. Okay, I got a comment. Attachment sounding is a big one for this too. I can feel so secure and confident and then get triggered into such anxiety, but learning to hold that anxiety is the most relieving and still learning. Absolutely, right? Like learning that there's absolutely nothing wrong with our big emotions and feeling what we feel and getting into these places where we're triggered and like I say, our coping, numbing, self-sabotage, it all comes up. Our anxiety, our depression, because that can also be a coping mechanism sometimes, is getting hyper-vigilant, getting feeling like everything's about us and oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? What's everyone thinking and what's everyone doing and getting all that way. Or going the other way, feeling nothing, feeling numb, turning it all off because it's all just too much. This is normal. This is normal human progress when we're overwhelmed. And I think the biggest thing that I just want to say is that forever, for the rest of our lives, we're going to go through periods where we're overwhelmed. And so it's not about trying to feel like we're failing, and it's not about trying to get back on track, because again, as good as being on track feels, because a lot of us are just like, but I want to get back on track because being off track feels so terrible. I get it. I hear you. I understand. Of course. And what I'm going to say is the fastest way to getting back on track in a real way where you're not feeling like you're shitty being off track and you're guilty and this is something wrong with you is to have compassion for yourself and gentleness with yourself when you're down in the pit, when you're back in your triggers, when everything is overwhelming and you can't keep it together and you can't stay on track. Compassion is the most important thing you will do for yourself. There is no off track. There is only, what am I learning through this period where it's harder? What am I learning through this period where it's harder? It's just harder right now. So how can I learn to have extra compassion for myself when it's harder? And what else am I learning through this period where it's harder? And we need to stop separating our lives into periods of good and periods of bad, periods of on track and periods of off track. The whole thing is the track. Your whole life is one track. And there's lots of variation on this track that you're going to be on for the rest of your life. So the more we can show up again with compassion and curiosity at each point on our path, understanding that each point on the path counts for something. Each point on the path counts for something. Each point on the path is a new opportunity to learn, to wade through whatever it is that we're facing, to bring our tools to whatever we're facing, to understand that sometimes it's just going to be too hard, we're going to be overwhelmed, we're going to have made a bunch of progress, and then the nervous system is going to pull us back. All of these things are going to happen, and there's nothing wrong with you, and that's not off track, and that's not a failure. If you've been able to feel good because of practices for periods of time and then you lose it, that's not because you suck. It's not because you're not good enough. It's not because you did something wrong. It's because you're normal and you're human and you're living a life that has variation. Okay? Sometimes even finding the humor in it, sometimes I feel like, oh, you again, and then when stuff comes up. Exactly. Because our stuff is going to cycle. No matter how on it you are, everyone's stuff comes up again to be revisited. Don't let any of the social media gurus trick you into thinking that there's, I figured it out and then I never looked at it again. And it's not to say that we can't get to a place where we literally never go to this depressive place again, or we never engage in a coping mechanism again, because that is absolutely real and that is true. We absolutely can progress to a point where we don't have the stuff we used to have. But again, that doesn't happen. And learning how to navigate life's challenges without that coping mechanism, with the new tools, it's a process and it's a progress. Okay, so don't let culture teach you and trick you into thinking that normal human progression is something wrong and something lacking in you and something you need to fix, because it isn't. This is just what normal human progress looks like. You're not doing it wrong. You're not fucking it up. There is nothing wrong with you. You're doing everything right. Okay? There is no off track. There is no off track. There's only periods of time where things are clear and periods of time where things are cloudy. But that's all a part of a life. So how can we embrace all sides of it and just learn from all of it and learn to have compassion for ourselves through all of it? That we stay on the one track of you are always worthy of compassion. You are always worthy of compassion. You are always worthy of compassion. You are always doing the best you can with what you know. You are always doing the best you can with what you know. There is nothing wrong with you and you are not broken. There is nothing wrong with you and you are not broken, and do not let culture tell you this. Okay? There is no on track and there is no off track. There's normal human progression where things are more challenging sometimes than they are at other times. It is not your fault if you can't stay on track all the time. None of us do. Because life is always going to throw us new challenges. The nervous system is always going to rebel to keep you safe. So, the point is compassion for yourself all the time. You're not broken. You don't need more stuff. You don't need another course. You're not failing. You're not doing it wrong. If this is an especially triggering time of year for you, be gentle. Be compassionate. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. Let yourself be upset. Let yourself be not okay. Just don't turn it in on yourself, because it's not you. You're not failing. Okay? There is no off track. There's one track, We can learn something from every experience, and you are worthy of compassion at all times. We're all going to have periods where it's harder. And that's normal, and that's natural, and that doesn't mean that something went wrong. Okay? So hopefully that was helpful. 15 minutes less than usual. I love you all. This is an incredibly intense time of year, so please just know that you're not failing and there's nothing wrong with you. Okay? And I think I'll see you again next week with another one of these little reminders, and then we'll get back on track in the new year. Back on track in the new year. I can't believe I just said that. Then we'll get back to normal schedule in the new year. How's that? Okay? You're not off track. There's only one track. Don't even listen to me. All right. I love you all. See you later.